I'm so alone, lost on my own.
So guys, it's been almost 10 months since we had released mind-blowing things about the Rinnegan, and now it's about time we cover a few things that we found as mind-blowing about the Sharingan. I may make pronunciation errors in this video, please forgive me from the bat. But let's dive right into the topic and go balls deep. Ever since the beginning of Naruto, we were introduced to Dojutsu very early on in the series. We had no idea about eyes containing such powers within them and their massive capabilities. It had left us speechless as kids and wishing we had Byakugan or the Sharingan for ourselves. I'm sure you guys have pretended just like me, right? To do 10 hand signs like Kakashi and say Fireball Jutsu! Was that only me? Okay.
Oh hell yeah, that was fucking badass! That was a big ass fucking flea! That was some fucking like Sasuke shit, yeah!
I can still remember when Kakashi showcased his one-eyed Sharingan against Zabuza and copied all his jutsus.
Copy ninja from the village hidden in the leaves. Kakashi of the Sharingan. Ushisaru u ne I tori ushi uma tori ne. Tora inu tora mi ushi hitsuji mi I hitsuji. Tori!
That was when life was much simpler and the anime itself too. As you guys should know is that the Sharingan is only one of rare dojutsus out there, alongside the Byakugan, Rinnegan, Tensengan, but one dojutsu out there that has been revealed to us, for example Boruto's eye, we don't know what it is, and there must be countless of other eye powers still out there in the shinobi universe that we may not know of. This anime is taking multiple directions. I mean, the whole anime has been revolved around dojutsu at this point. In today's video, we will go in depth on why the Sharingan is so powerful. Like seriously, it's crazy how we see Sasuke a lone wolf with such abilities. Just imagine if there was a whole clan that wasn't slaughtered and how unstoppable they would have been. I guess it justifies why everyone was afraid of them revolting. And anyway, let's just go back right to the topic. The origins of the Sharingan is obvious. If you are a devoted Naruto fan like ourselves, then you would understand by now that all chakra and abilities were gained through Kaguya and the teachings of Hagoromo, best known as the Sage of Six Paths. If you guys have watched the whole of Naruto, the fillers between the Otsutsuki clan and their background revealed everything to us. As Kaguya being an alien from another planet and her bringing in such unknown powers had created a world full of shinobi and chakra, Hagoromo had awakened the Sharingan through dire circumstances. Generally, the Sharingan is either awakened through different scenarios, as Sasuke awakened his after seeing his clan being murdered, Itachi awakened his once seeing his team was killed and he mastered it at the age of 10, Shisui actually awakened his Mangekyo Sharingan seeing his best friend die in the Third Shinobi World War, which is something we will discuss later on in the video. And it can also be awakened in happy situations, with Sarada awakening hers when she was about to meet her dad after such a long period of time. The list goes on and on, but you guys get the gist. Originally, the Sharingan was awakened by Hagoromo after seeing the dead body of the woman he loved. These events then leading on to the destruction of Kaguya through her sons. But most importantly, the true descent of this overpowered dojutsu came from the Sage of Six Paths sons, Indra and Asura. Well, if you haven't already watched our video, mind-blowing things about the Rinnegan, we go much more balls deep onto this topic of Indra and Asura and their inspirations taken from Buddhism and Hinduism beliefs. Furthering this topic on, once Indra had awakened his Sharingan, that is when the cycle of hatred began. Indra's way of life had led to separation in clans, forming what we know to be the most naturally gifted and deadliest clan to live, and that's the Uchiha. They all descended from Indra. The Sharingan translates to copy real eye. Now we do see Kakashi perfectly follow this name up, as he is known as to be the copycat ninja due to the power of only one matured Sharingan. This had allowed us to perceive the power of what one Sharingan can do to its opponents. Watching that fight against Zabuza was more than stunning, and keeping in mind-blowing perspective that Zabuza was only one of Deadly Swordsmen of the Mist and he was an S-rank mission from the start. It showcased how the Sharingan helped in this situation given. But Kakashi had even stated that the Sharingan copying jutsus did come with its limits because it couldn't be used on other shinobi with much more rarer Kekkai Genkai, or they could not replicate a jutsu in which the nature release wasn't familiar to them. The Sharingan has two specific abilities, the Eye of Insight and the Eye of Hypnotism. The Eye of Insight contains the ability to copy one's jutsu and fighting style, being able to read every fast-paced move from an opponent and being able to vaguely see one's chakra. However, it is not as powerful as the Byakugan's perception. We see this showcased when Sasuke copied one of Rock Lee's moves in the Chunin exams, for example. The Eye of Hypnotism is Itachi's speciality. For example, he could master such genjutsu at such an early age, where he used this Tsukiyomi on Kakashi. You could even check out the video we did about going balls deep on how it's one of the most powerful genjutsus out there and that Itachi was more overpowered than you might think. Wielding genjutsu isn't the only ability of the Eye of Hypnotism, but in fact being able to read future events, like pinpoint scenarios that could take place in the next 10 seconds, and this would kind of justify by the news of any Sharingan that it takes a lot of concentration to do this, but it showcases possible scenarios to come. I mean, you guys saw this and witnessed this recently with Sarada activating the Sharingan, and it allowed her to see Sasuke in semi-slow motion when he was about to attack. So you can see how the Sharingan is even more overpowered. So along the Eye of Hypnotism comes with the additions of Izanagi and Izanami. Izanagi being able to warp an enemy into an illusion, then changing the illusion into some sort of reality, allowing the enemy to rewrite their destiny and avoid death. However, Izanami was put into place for those who had abused the Izanagi, so most likely a counter punishment for the members of the Uchiha clan. It puts you into another illusion, disregarding the 5 senses. But these abilities do come with its price, like equivalent exchange from Full Metal Alchemist. These abilities are classed as kinjutsu, and once performed, the user would likely become blind. Ever since being showcased this Dojutsu during Kakashi's fight with Zabuza, there has been much development taking place. For example, this had led us to understand the true extent of how far the Sharingan can actually go. But during Kishimoto's interview with Kobayashi, it was revealed to us to why the Sharingan was so overpowered. Like, Kishimoto probably thought to himself, whoops, I think I made this shit too strong. But in this interview, Kishimoto was asked, why did you decide to introduce a strong enemy like Zabuza right at the beginning of the series? This is a question ourselves, we were thinking this ourselves because for some time now. What was the purpose of Zabuza being introduced so early into the series and being impossible for the protagonist to even defeat without a struggle? Them taking an S-rank mission so young seemed absurd, logically speaking. Kishimoto had stated that he wanted to do this right off the bat to show off Kakashi's strength as an example of what an experienced ninja can do in the Naruto universe. This would set some cornerstones down in the manga straight away and make it easier for the audience to put things into perspective. Now, cornerstones is a great way of how writers use this technique to set a standard and set the rules of the universe they are creating, and pretty much a lot of shows do this. Even in reality shows where Game of Thrones or Westworld, they do this as well. Kobayashi had also pointed out that such rare Kekkai Genkai, for example the Sharingan, played such a huge part even towards the end of the manga. However, the savage that Kishimoto is had to put it into terms that he was bluffing. Yeah, right, guys, you got that right. Not everyone is perfect. Kishimoto was sort of improvising with these abilities revealed, such as Haku's ice release and most importantly the Sharingan. Kishimoto kinda went with the flow during the first stages of Naruto, and some of us thinking he had everything set out from the very beginning just isn't the case. He had even claimed that the wave arc was improvised, and he had just thought of the concept that Sasuke's backstory would be consisting of him having an older brother that was a rogue. But somehow this all turned out brilliantly, and we all loved the twists and turns the narrative had. Kishimoto also says that although he introduced the Sharingan as being able to copy moves, the premise on what the Sharingan could do changed drastically over the course of the storyline. This was also a way to hook the readers, as Kakashi not being an Uchiha still being able to wield the Sharingan was something that kept us all on edge, and you know, we were all on the edge of our seats thinking, oh my god, what's gonna happen in this show? We would be thinking, what is the Sharingan wielder actually consist of? Why did they not exist anymore, and why are they so rare, and why is it so important? These are the questions that we will be thinking as a viewer at the time 15 years ago. So Kishimoto did this intentionally so readers like us would discuss amongst ourselves and create a buzz, which ultimately worked. He's a genius. But knowing that the creator of the anime is stating himself that the direction of the plot for the Sharingan was taking drastic changes over the course of time, I mean, there was no point A to Z. It just showcases the blind luck at times of trusting your instincts and writing abilities, that your story has meaning behind it, that it could ultimately spread the message that it did. I mean, Kishimoto made the story revolved around the Sharingan to break the cycle of hatred and paralleled our own world perfectly, in my opinion. The lessons learned applies to our own, and it teaches the viewers a healthy message that we could cherish for the rest of our lives, and you know, to stop hatred and actually be positive people in our lives like Naruto. So I don't know, I think it was a good direction that he actually took it in the end. So another thing you guys should know about the Sharingan is that the tale of Jiraiya the Gallant, in which I mean the original folklore, had also played a massive part towards the inspiration of the Sharingan. As we covered this topic in one of our previous videos based upon the legendary Sannin. Well, anyways, in this tale, Jiraiya and Tsunade would always be in battle with Orochimaru, as he was the root of most of the conspiracies that had taken place within the Kekkai clan, thus causing Jiraiya and Tsunade to always bow against the villainous Orochimaru. Within this folklore, Tsunade and Jiraiya had developed magic so they could defeat the serpent. This is what caught Kishimoto's attention due to the fact that Jiraiya had acquired toad magic and Tsunade with slug magic. This is where the spark of inspiration had originated from for the creation of the Sharingan. During Jiraiya's battle against Orochimaru in the ancient folklore is that Jiraiya was able to track all the movements of Orochimaru with his eyes through toad magic. This is also an inspiration to Sage Mode, by the way, which I covered in my previous video. But the concept of Jiraiya being able to see through every move of Orochimaru's movements had allowed Kishimoto to come up with the idea of there being a Dojutsu specifically named the Sharingan to maintain such godly abilities in the Naruto anime. Anyway, what do you guys think of the Sharingan? Is it too overpowered? Did it have a good plotline? I mean, let us know in the comment section below. I believe that it is a bit too monstrous for my liking. It totally obliterates the idea of even having the Byakugan, because the Byakugan has an extra history and another Otsutsuki member behind it all that live on the moon. So they must have a whole load of history as well that we don't know anything about. So I guess the Boruto series is trying to cover this aspect. But the Sharingan does make the Byakugan look very inferior. So especially seeing like Madara, Itachi, Sasuke, Indra, then talking about this Dojutsu. So what happened to the other Otsutsuki on the moon? What happened to his Dojutsu with the Tensengan? I don't know what's going on. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video of us giving you a bit more insight on such an ability and where the inspiration come from and why is it so overpowered. Make sure you smash the like button, hit the notification bell and follow us on social media. And we love you guys, and we see you on to the next Naruto video as always.
Sipping on sauce.